Hello, it's Miller Time Talk with Angela Miller.
Hi, Jay.
Hey.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome.
Okay.
We got Jay here, Jay Byars with Dorchester County Council, and you serve what district?
So I serve District 7, which is a lot of the area over in the Oak Brook side of town on the Ashley River, down to County Line Road, out toward Charleston County. So between the Edisto and Ashley River is a lot of my district, as well as Dorchester Road, Trolley Road. That's most of my area.
Okay. So ever going towards Bacon's Bridge, Dorchester Road.
That's right.
All the new growth and development that's kind of growing up. Summers
That district
Corner.
is always growing, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we've
a lot
had
of growth
so
there.
much land, and now we're seeing things start to pop up over there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that park that you fell in love with, and that was your big baby, your project.
Well, there's not just one, but we've got one that's open that certainly, so the Ashley River Park is a gem right now. So the county opened that a couple of years ago. That was very personal to me. We had a great team that got that online. We've got another park coming open this year at Pine Trace we'll talk about. For the Ashley River Park, we're going to expand that.
Really?
We're going to be going upriver. So right now it's 83 acres on the Ashley River. Gotten great reviews. Got a splash pad for the kids, playground with a zip line, fishing pond, boardwalks, a lot of walking trails. So it's really awesome. We were going to expand that upriver. We're building a new library on the river on the other side of Bacons Ridge Road. So we have a pedestrian access that we're going to put underneath the bridge to connect those, so that you don't have to cross the street. And then we got another 200 acres of land upriver that we're going to expand into with trails, zip line course, ropes course, that type of stuff. And hopefully we're going to be able to build bridges and get across the river to make connections to Rosebrook Park as well as additional properties. That park, when it's all said and done, will be about 2 or 3 miles on the Ashley River with about 400 to 600 acres total when we're said and done with it. So it's going to be nice.
Is that the park that you can actually launch your kayak from? Or
Yes.
Is that okay?
So we've got a kayak launch right there at the bridge, at Bacon's Bridge, the Bridgman kayak launch. And so it was named after Howard Bridgman, who's a longtime servant in Somerville area and very passionate about the Ashley River. So that's a great spot to be able to launch there. And you can take it out down at Justin, or if you want to paddle back, against the tide, you can. I mean, it's a tidal river, so if you time it right, you could go out with the tide and come back with the tide. So there's a way to do that too. It's a great spot to be able to paddle though.
Where would we find out about that tide to go out and back? Because
I've got an app on my phone that tells me when
Okay.
it's high tide. So you can download the app with tides and key in Bacon's Bridge, and you can see when it's high tide and low tide at Bacon's Bridge. It's very helpful.
so it's same as the tide chart, like if I was going to Folly Beach and I wanted to. Okay.
But
all right.
the times will obviously be different because it's
Right.
very different locations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. I had no idea that you could do that with the
Yeah.
rivers as well. Interesting. Well, are you from Somerville? How long have you lived here?
No, I moved here. I graduated Clemson in 1995, and I moved down here because I was going to move to Colorado and I was going to go be a ski instructor. And my mom cried and was like, "Please don't move that far away." So I moved here instead. So I'm from Spartanburg originally. So I am a South Carolina boy, but not a Somerville boy.
Okay.
So I've been here since then, except for 2 years in grad school at Georgia.
So what made you decide to land in Somerville?
They gave me a job. District 2, I came down here to teach. When I was graduating back then, I was a science teacher, and I wanted to just kind of move out of the upstate in some way, shape, or form. And so I got a nice job here in Somerville at DuBose Middle School, making $22,400 a year. It was a lot of money for me back then. And so
What year was that?
95.
Okay.
It actually wasn't a lot of money, but it got me to move down here. And so the rest is kind of history.
Okay, gotcha. And your family, you've got a family?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, Amber, my wife Amber, and I got 2 daughters, Katie Jo and Georgia. So Katie Jo is now living her best life as a student at Clemson, and Georgia is a junior in high school. And so very excited about their futures. But we raised them here. They've been here all their lives. I mean, and just really enjoy the town and what Somerville and Dorchester County is. But it's been a great place to raise a family.
Awesome. I have to agree with that. I
Yeah.
brought mine in here 2014, and Somerville was my location because of the schools and the town in itself. So what is county council?
Well, county council is a group of individuals that like to put the fun in dysfunctional. I'm just kidding. So So, it's an elected body. So, every county in Dorchester or in South Carolina has a county council. Every town has a town council. So we are 7 elected officials. We represent different parts of the county, and we basically make policy for that county, which is a lot of fun because you get to decide, are we going to build parks? Are we going to build libraries? How do we fix these roads? When neighborhoods come online, what do we do to try to help facilitate that they're built the right way? And so our job is to make policy. We're elected by constituents, so I've got probably 25,000 constituents in District 7. I have to run every 4 years. Everybody runs for office. This is my 14th year on county council. I'm a 4-term, won my first election in 2010. So I've been doing this a little while. But it's a body that really at the local level you really can make a difference, and you can do some good things that you can see in your community, and that's kind of why I know everybody on our county council. That's why they serve. They're all passionate about seeing Dorchester County and our community really be what it can be.
Okay. And what do you have to do to qualify to be, help with county council or be on the council?
Well, clearly you have to be wicked smart. Right? I'm kidding.
100%.
Yeah, no.
Science teacher,
Science
Colorado skiing instructor.
Yeah, I'm well-rounded. I have way too many interests. I need to narrow them down. You got to be passionate about your community. It's a lot of work. It really takes a lot of time. People don't realize how much time this job takes. We meet twice a month. But that's not all we do. I'm constantly going to HOA meetings. I'm constantly going across the street and I'm talking to staff about, this development or this park initiative or whatever. It's a lot of time, and so you got to care about it. You're not doing it for the money because it costs me money and it costs me sanity. But I do really love the job. I love seeing what we've done and the positive progress that's come out of it. Those kind of things, when we go out and we see a library and we see a young family using that library, or we see a road that's improved that was desperately needed to go out to Ashley Ridge High School. You see that we help make those things happen. That's very rewarding intrinsically. And I'm a person that's driven by that. And I think most of the folks on our county council are the same way. This is the kind of thing where you want to make a difference. And if you want to make a difference and you're willing to work hard, then a local office is something that you can certainly run for. And if you win, then you've got the fortune to be able to try to make a true difference at your local level.
So I'm just going to ask this question. What are the negatives?
Well, there's no short list of negatives. Okay. At the end of the day, it's a lot of time. Yeah. It's a lot of stress. I remember my first re-election in 2014, Dorchester Road was an absolute debacle. The road construction, the widening, it was a disaster. I probably lost more sleep in that year because of the way that project was going. And I really almost didn't run again because it was just so bad. The stress was so bad, and Amber was like, why are you doing this to yourself? And the problem is we weren't even in control of the road, but I was getting a lot of the complaints, and so you got to field that, and then you got to try to make sure that people understand what's truly going on. We learned a lot from that, but at the end of the day, that's a lot of it is the stress. People can see you in the grocery store and they can, say, hey, you kept doing a great job, or they may come over there and start chewing you out for whatever.
Right.
That at this level, you don't get to go to Columbia like those guys. And they can go blame somebody in Greenville for not getting something done.
Right.
Here, you vote with people sitting in front of you 20 feet away and 50 feet away. And you got to answer for that stuff, right. which is also a benefit. You get to be held accountable, and I don't mind that. I think that we made a lot of really good decisions. And then I think just time-wise, when you're running your own business like I am, this is something that takes a lot of time if you do it right. Mm-hmm. So you got to be prepared for the fact that you're going to put some time in. And then these days, just politics, social media, people can complain about stuff on social media, and they take every opportunity to do that. And so those are the negatives, but the positives far outweigh that. You just got to know that there's a whole lot of people that really like what we're doing. We talk to those people. We see the difference in people's lives with the things that we're doing right. Doesn't mean that we can't always learn. We take that criticism, and a lot of it's justified, and we'll make corrections. At this level, you can do that.
Well, we're a very fast-growing community. The reason I ask about the negatives because I want people to understand what y'all do for a little bit of money. When I came into my first recognition of how little pay you get for what y'all do. My partner in Georgia with Keller Williams was the mayor of a small town called Walnut Grove.
Yeah.
And when he shared with me how much money he made
Yeah.
in that mayor position, I was appalled.
Yeah.
Because I know how much time it took him away from his family, not just real estate as a commercial realtor, but also as the mayor. And I know that there was not enough accolades for the things that you guys do.
Yeah.
You don't get enough recognition
Well, I appreciate
for the
that.
time and effort that y'all put into to make where we live a better place.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to have the right heart for what you're doing. I really believe. I know economic development for me is very big, and I'm very moved by it. So I look forward to trying to figure out how to plug in and get involved in that arena this year. So
Well, I appreciate what you said. I mean, at the end of the day, I think most of us don't necessarily do this gig for accolades. You know?
Sure.
I mean, but you do want to be able to just see the reward of the work that has been done. Particularly on Dorchester County, we've got challenges. You know, our biggest challenge is growth. It has been probably for the last 8 years. The first couple of years I was on county council was right after the Great Recession. Nobody was building anything, you know, and it was a very different time because I had friends of mine that were builders or subcontractors, and they were filing bankruptcy or foreclosure because they didn't have any work.
right.
And now it's very different. Now there's no shortage of building and construction going on, which means people are mad because schools are overcrowded, roads are stressed. You know, and at the local level, one of the things that frustrates me is, all right, we're having to clean up the mess of the South Carolina General Assembly, who didn't properly fund roads for 4 decades in this state. And so we're having to go try to catch up on that. So we have to pick up some of that slack. They're doing a better job now, but for 4 decades, they just really didn't do a very good job. So when people complain about the DOT, those guys do as much as they can with a little bit of funding the South Carolina's given them.
Right.
The funding is improved, but what I also tell people is like, look, we've got challenges. Growth is a challenge, traffic is a challenge, no problem. But we don't have problems. If you want problems, let's go to Allendale, South Carolina. Let's go to places where when you ride through Main Street, you see boarded up motels that used to be something
Right.
30 or 40 years ago, and now there's no economic opportunity.
Right.
You go to places that are completely depressed. We don't have problems.
Right.
And so I will embrace the challenges because it gives us opportunities. I mean, opportunities to build the Ashley River Park, to build the Ashley River Library, to go build our roads that we need to do. We've got those opportunities because of the growth. It does help, but it is a challenge to balance that. There is no doubt about that. And you got to be able to work with developers to make sure we do it the right way, but it is a constant balancing act.
Well,
Because most people want to just close the gates.
Sure. Anytime that you have growth in an area, then there's, you know, just like any real estate industry timeline, things change.
That's
you
right.
know, I mean, take it from when I got into real estate, there was no computer MLS. We were using books. We've had to adjust. Now we're into technology. I mean, you know, that's just the real estate industry. So you have your challenges in every single industry. But roads, infrastructures,
Yeah.
you know, right now you can't get sewer in Ridgefield, so that's a 2-year, you know,
And that's-
hold on
that's a
some
big ticket
of,
item,
yeah.
you know, build
also-
a treatment plant.
Yeah, so, you know, people don't understand why and what the holdups are, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more into it. And so I think that if people have questions, then they need to come to some of these meetings.
Yeah.
Speaking up, how can the public find out about these meetings so
They're
they
all
can
publicly
attend?
advertised. So and by law, you have to advertise every meeting within no less than 24 hours before that meeting starts. But our schedule is posted for a full year at a time. Now, every once in a while, we'll have a special call meeting because something came up and we need to address it in a quick time frame. But we meet typically twice a month, most months. We meet between Somerville and St. George. We've got 2 different locations that we meet in because St. George technically is the county seat. But 90% of the population lives below Four Hole Swamp, which is where all the people live. So we also meet in Somerville for most of those meetings because that's just where everybody is.
Right.
It's easier for constituents to come to the meetings. And we want people to come to the meetings. I mean, at the end of the day, you want people to be involved. You want them to know what's going on. I always think it's better to tell people what's actually happening, even if it's not what they want to hear, because at least they know what the facts are versus having to make stuff up that, you know, or just draw conclusions from incomplete data. We usually have a core group of citizens that come about once a month to the meetings, and then if you've got a certain issue, people will show up based on that issue.
Sure.
You know, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun at the meetings. You know, it's nice to see the things that we're doing in the community, but we want people to come because our job is to reflect what the public wants as much as possible.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the transportation and the capital projects that the county is working on currently.
No, yeah, I'm glad you asked that because we got a lot going on. So we passed a couple of referendums that the voters voted on the last couple of years. So in 2018, the voters voted on a referendum for $38 million of countywide parks and $30 million of new county libraries. The library that we currently have in Somerville is getting close to a half a century old. The deferred maintenance in that thing is awful. The parking's terrible. We've already opened a brand new library in North Charleston near Fort Dorchester High School, which is awesome. We more than broke the numbers of people we thought were going to come to that. We got a new Ashley River library coming online. We're going to be doing a library in Ridgeville, which is exciting, and then also a downtown Somerville library. So we're going to bring Dorchester County into the modern age. And the nice thing about building the libraries that we're currently doing is we get to build the library of the future. So the libraries anymore, it's not about rows of encyclopedias and stuff like that. I mean, books are still important, but it's more about media space, creation space. You're gonna have a lot of books and magazines, but just be able to have places that the community can come together, that if someone doesn't have Wi-Fi access at home, they can come in and use those things. So we get to build libraries that are going to meet the needs of the future versus trying to retrofit old defunct libraries that just really are outdated, which is kind of nice. The other thing too that we're really passionate about is the parks. The $38 million parks, we built two so far, one in St. George, which is the Davis Bailey Park. It's more of an active sports recreation park. It's got a nice walking trail, but 2 baseball fields, a soccer field, picnic shelter. So there's a lot going on there, and that's going to really meet the needs of that community. We're seeing some good activity there. The Ashley River Park that we talked about earlier, that's just a good outdoor passive recreation park, fishing opportunities. We've got another park at Pine Trace, which is off Miles Jamison Road. That's going to be 300 acres of park with dog parks in it, as well as what Ashley River has. Playground, kayaking on a pond, probably 6 to 10 miles of walking trails, a bike challenge course, which is going to be pretty cool, and an 18-hole disc golf course. And it's going to be a different type of park where it's like a 300-acre, very mature. The trees in that park are going to be over 100 years old. So we're really going to have a very nice natural park there. Those are things we're really excited about, that the community is really excited about. They voted for it, they wanted to see it, they bought into the vision, and it's happening. I think the other big thing that we passed in 2020 was the transportation sales tax. Actually, what year is it? It's 2024?
Yeah.
2022, yes. In 2022, we passed a transportation, an extension of the current transportation sales tax. So every dollar that you spend in Dorchester County, a penny sales tax goes onto that dollar, and it goes towards building roads. And we've had that in place since 2004. So the Dorchester Road project, Berlin G. Myers project, Bacon's Bridge Road widening, all of these are major heavy lifts that we use that penny sales tax for. That penny sales tax wasn't set to expire until 2029. We managed to pay those bonds off early so that we could do a referendum now, because we've got to build more roads now. And that prior penny was limited to only 22 specific projects, and most of those projects are done. We needed to be able to do projects for widening Dorchester Road down through Westcott, going towards the Charleston County line. We're going to need to build a major road artery on the other side of the Ashley River, whether it's the Glen McConnell Parkway or we do a Plantation Parkway along 61. Orangeburg Road widening, Butternut Road, Central Avenue, Maple Street extension that you see being done right now. We picked up the tab from the town of Somerville for that so that they could reallocate their funding to do some public safety projects they needed to do. The county stepped in and we're taking care of that. So we're going to see some major road projects being done in the next 5 to 10 years, which this community desperately needs, and we were able to get that done. So between the libraries, the parks, the roads, there's a lot of really good things that are happening, because we do want to try to make this a place that people want to live, work, and play. They want to raise their kids and their grandkids, and we understand the challenges that growth brings us, but also we know that we've got opportunities to be able to do some really neat stuff to make this a community that is somewhere we're all proud to live.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I want to go back on one thing that you said, disc golf.
Yes.
Is that the first park here to have disc golf?
In Dorchester County, yes.
Okay.
I mean, so it's going to be a really neat, I mean, there's a couple in Charleston County.
Yeah.
And there may be one over in Berkeley County, but at the end of the day, this will be our first one. And it's really going to go through the woods. I mean, it'll be going around the pond. I mean, they've got a nice course layout on it.
Nice.
And the disc golf community, aka Frisbee golf, for just everyday guys, right? But that disc golf community, they were super excited about this.
Yeah.
They came to our ribbon cutting for the park, and we're super excited. They're looking for, and we're getting some good consulting from that community on what it should look like. So it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, that's the kind of thing that anybody can go out and just play disc golf, or if you've just got a regular frisbee and just go play with your kids and just walk through the woods and you're just playing a game. It's a great opportunity to get outside.
Yeah. Are any of the parks that are coming up, are they going to have the pickleball that everybody is like loving today?
It's not something we're focused on.
Okay.
The county, other than St. George, right now, what we are focused on is primarily what we just call like outdoor passive parks. We want to get out on trails, we want to do fishing and kayaking, those types of things. The active sports recreation is not something that's in our wheelhouse yet, and we want this. North Charleston does that. Somerville, as a city, does that, or the town of Somerville. That's more of a municipal function.
Okay.
It's not to say we won't do it down the road, but it's not something we're doing right now.
Okay.
And we definitely aren't going to do pickleball courts at these type of parks, because these type of parks are all about being out in nature and it being quiet and listening to birds, and pickleball gets a little bit loud.
I haven't been to one yet, but I do know that I have sold a few houses to some clients that they had to have pickleball in the community in which they bought.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there's people who are passionate about it.
they really are. So that's what I'm looking for, to see if there was a way for us to help incorporate maybe a community. And thanks for coming.
You're
and
welcome.
Being my guest today.
Yeah.
And you'll see me at some of these meetings, because I want to get more involved and find out more about it, and it helps me in my industry.
Sure.
So, but
Cool.
yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Okay.